What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite wrestling podcast. It is the Monday Night Wave, baby. And we back. We had a nice little break. It was great. Had to refresh, just get the stress off, travel, hang out with family, maybe slept a little bit. You never know. But today, we're back with our reviews of AEW's All In and WWE's Bash in Berlin. What's up, everybody? We actually got a little bit ahead of ourselves with this episode. This episode will actually be the reaction to All In, and we'll be giving you guys the Bash in Berlin episode next week. We have figured some stuff out in post-production as far as time constraints that we had scheduled ahead of time. Completely forgot about that. So, our bad, our fault. But yeah, definitely stick around. Check out this episode. It's great. We have a lot of great stuff we're talking about here. Just tune in. Keep rocking with us. Appreciate y'all. My bad. Catch you guys in the next one and the one after that. Peace. A really busy week for wrestling. Both shows are great. It seems like the pay-per-views are nonstop because it was All In, the last week, and then Berlin yesterday, and now we got All Out this Saturday. Like it's a lot of wrestling going on. But once again, before we get into it, shout out to all our listeners. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart. I got some iHeart people out there.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, man, we back. But without further ado, you know what the time is. I'm gonna pass it off to my man, the one, the only, Mr. Heroic. Take away from here.
He is the wild card. He is the king of gorgeous. He is Mr. Sexy Ass Lottery. He is Hero, and I am he, and I am glad to be back. Man, taking a week off. It's we were talking behind the scenes. It's like I don't even know Jay anymore. I don't know what his favorite color is anymore. I don't know what he likes to his favorite sweet is when he watches a movie. Yeah, man, my bosom heaves in the weight of your absence. It was
that was crazy, but
let me get on my Mariah May stuff. I just idolize you, my guy. But hey, I'm glad to be back, and I'm not you already said it. Like I don't even need to ask you what you want to pod about. We got Bash and Brawlin'. See what I did there, folks? We got two great pay-per-view /PLEs, and let's talk about some wrestling. I mean, let's get into the news, but let's talk about some wrestling.
So talk about some graps. News. First things first. We're gonna give out our condolences to the family of Psycho Sid, aka Sid Vicious. He had passed away earlier this week, so definitely send our prayers and thoughts out to his family members. I think I told in the group chat that Psycho Sid was one of the key reasons why I love the Powerbomb. I remember growing up and we had just VHS tapes, just random WWE or WWF shows in your houses and whatnot. And I think at the time he was doing a feud with Bret Hart, I believe. And me and my brothers were just Psycho Sid was the greatest shit of all time. Dude was 6'9", just jacked, powerbombing people. It was almost as if he was kind of the prototype to what a Brock Lesnar is, just that level of power. So definitely a huge part of my wrestling, childhood. Once again, send our thoughts and prayers out to his family.
Yes, absolutely.
Keeping in the same vein, we are, a hip hop podcast and we are black, so I gotta give a big, thoughts and prayers to the families of Fat Man Scoop. That is, if you've been to any black barbecue, any black birthday party, you done heard Fat Man Scoop.
I mean, you got served,
you got served.
His music,
Missy Elliott, you done heard Fat Man Scoop.
Exactly.
For sure.
It's been somewhere.
And I want to, in some form or fashion you have. So definitely sending out, thoughts and prayers to his family as well. Just an icon for the millennials for sure. Um, pivoting away from that, Netflix. Netflix has came out and said that we have a Vince McMahon documentary coming out September 26th.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they said it's going to be 9 1-hour episodes. So
Damn,
we're getting
he's getting the
we're
Tiger
getting
King
some shit
treatment.
on Vince. Oh, for sure, for sure.
Shit, all right.
I don't know. I would assume it's probably about the lawsuits and just the multiple things that Vince has done.
So,
Um,
from what I've seen, most of it is prior to the recent
okay,
resignation, but they do touch on. There are some journalists that touch on things after he resigned, so we should get some sort of stuff that involves the recent, the shit that happened in February and January, whatnot.
okay.
Yeah, so we should have some but most of it is prior to that resignation. So I mean, I don't know how far back prior, like as far as like we talking like what he was doing in the '80s slash early '90s also, or is this just the 2000s years? I mean, there's 9 episodes per hour, so we'll see it. But I'm willing to bet, similar to Tiger King, where it's like that last 2 episodes was like, now here's what's going on currently, type of thing. Like
Right,
this
right,
motherfucker's
right.
really like he's in actual jail. This other guy is blah blah blah. So like I wouldn't be surprised if episode 8 or 9 is about what's been happening the last 5 months or so.
And the crazy part is that like, it, even though if it doesn't touch on the Janelle Grant situation, is that Vince has done a lot of dirty shit, bro.
Oh yeah, there could be way more than
Like
9 episodes.
that's what I'm saying, bro. Like this nigga is foul. Like they can be 9 episodes just about the '80s alone, bro.
Yeah,
So it's
the
just
steroid
a
stuff,
sick
the Owen Hart stuff,
man.
just racial angles. Like,
Yes, bro.
yeah,
The
there's
nigga is a sick individual.
yeah.
My instant thought is that of course I'm gonna check this out. I'm a wrestling fan. I know how dirty Vince is, but like, there's also some shit that I don't know. So I'm definitely gonna check it out. My question is, do you think this has any effect on, WWE currently? I know we don't. I know we know that Triple H is running the show. Him and Nick Khan are doing great things over there. But as far as like it's the media, it's PR. Anything that comes out, especially if they're not talking about current events, you're gonna start talking about shit that maybe happened in '90s, early 2000s, and who were around during those time periods. That was your Batistas, your Cenas, your Undertakers, your Kanes, your Triple H's. Like, so do you think that there's possibly anything in here that could throw some negative light somewhere? And how do you think they get out of the situation? How do you think they spin it, or not
The
spin it, but
the way to get out of the situation is honestly just to keep putting on a good show, and just answer the questions that you can answer, I guess, during press conferences. But honestly, just keep presenting a good show, because ever since he left, it's been gone. Like it's been a good product. There's going to be audience members that see the documentary or whatever, and then they might like be re-soured on the and they might want to deviate or backtrack a little bit, or distance themselves. But then there's also going to be a certain fan group or a certain audience that is like, thank God he's gone. So
Right.
it might even make them like the company currently even more. So I think it'll go both ways, if not like quadruple ways in all different directions. But um, it's one of those things. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be split. I think some people might be like, I feel kind of gross like watching this. I don't know if I want to watch Raw this week or something. But I feel like there's going to be another group where it's like, man, thank God that motherfucker's going. No, I can't wait to see what happens on SmackDown this week, just to see the difference, type of thing. So I don't know.
Yeah. That's funny because that's kind of similar to what Cody said yesterday when they asked him about it. And the only people that I can't say I want to answer, 'cause I don't deserve it. I don't need it. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's the H's, Nick Grants, it's the people who are up asking talent how they feel about like the Vince shit when like they have no fucking idea. It's also kind of like we just focus on the product down here.
Yeah.
That's what Seth said, and I love Seth's answer. That's what Cody has been saying. I love Cody's answer. Like, that's great. Because at the end of the day, like, they don't control that. They weren't inside Vince's pocket. They're not in the boardrooms. If anybody knows the stories about how talent was even approaching Vince, like they had to wait in line for hours. Nobody was close to Vince as far as like talent wise, except for, you know, Mr. F5. But like that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And Cody wasn't even there for a big chunk, so it's like, what? I don't know.
Exactly.
And speak real quick. Speaking of interviews, because you saw did you see the press conference after All In when someone asked Mercedes about the divorce?
Bro, that shit was gross. I saw that shit. Like, what are we doing, bro? Biggest night for like AEW, and we want to like ask about your divorce? Like, what, bro?
Yeah. There's places
like
and stuff
come on,
for
niggas.
certain questions, you know.
Like, what are we doing, bro? Like that shit was foul. Like, fuck. Like, come on, bro. You get one question, one question, and that's the one you want to ask. Crazy. But we'll get into that. We'll get into like All In. I got some stuff to talk about for sure. Keeping like the realm of like pay-per-views, WWE said that the shorter PLEs was to be the standard going forward. So at least 5 to, I think, is it 5 or 6 match like cards?
It's usually been 5 matches.
5 matches, so like 5 match cards are going to be the standard going forward. You know what? I'll take the 5 matches if you also give me earlier start times. These earlier start times for pay-per-views and PLEs have been fucking phenomenal. If we can get, you know, a nice little 4 p.m. Eastern time, I'm Gucci.
Which I think I just saw that Bad Blood was going to start an hour early. I believe I just saw that.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
I'm for it. I love this shit. This shit is like nothing's better. I got a whole Saturday. I'm up at 10. I'm watching this pay-per-view until like 12, 1. My whole day's here. Cool. But to get back on point or on topic, I'm okay with it. This has been WWE's formula. It's been working for them so far. And even so, and I think I'm starting to notice what they're doing is that like they'll run the 5 card for the pay-per-view or the PLE, but then like that SmackDown, you got some pay-per-view matches going on that SmackDown. As long as the quality of those matches stay the same on that SmackDown and or that Raw, I'm good.
Which we
gotta.
To me, this news was like. To me, this wasn't news because I feel like you and we've talked about it like ever since Mania. Every single PLE or whatever has been about 5 matches. Like we made jokes. It was like, all right, we got 4. What's going to be that 5th match? Like we was making jokes about it. And
right.
Yeah, so I feel like this was essentially them telling us something that we kind of like already knew, but it was at least them confirming it. It seems like.
True.
So yeah, I'm also for it because it makes the way that they've been doing it. It makes the Raws and SmackDowns feel important because you're getting the tag matches. You're getting some, like the U.S. title match that we had last week.
Yeah,
you're getting shit like that. Like it makes those shows feel important because I can't tell you how many Raws I've been to in Portland where it's like that was it. Like we didn't get shit, like shit like that. So
talk about it.
It makes the normal shows feel just as important when you get a big match, like a women's tag or just I don't know anything. So I'm here for it, and like I'm here for the 5 matches because all those matches get time.
Yep,
they get to tell the story that they're telling for that match. It doesn't feel rushed, and like you were saying, shorter pay-per-views, man. Like I didn't watch this one on time yesterday because I was at work or whatever because it's an international pay-per-view. But in theory, yeah, it starts at 4, you're done at like 7:20, or something, or even shorter than that.
Easy.
So it's like it's great. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as they continue to have quality matches during the week, I'm great. My thing with WWE and like their weekly shows was that nothing has felt like damn, like I could have watched this on YouTube. Like make sure everything is not the word respected, but just stacked, bro. Like we want good product. Yeah, I'm down for it. I'm all here for it. Keeping the realm of PLEs and pay-per-views, it looks like AEW is going to Brisbane, Australia in February. All In goes back to London in 2026, and Forbidden Doors in London in 2025. Which now, I believe, All In comes first, and then Forbidden Door comes afterwards for next year. and I'm okay with that. I think like due to the location of Forbidden Door being in London, it's a lot easier for like New Japan wrestlers to travel to London. Like that's right there in the middle, I believe. International travel is just a lot easier from what I'm hearing or have heard. And then of course, if All In's in London in 2026, we know WWE's definitely doing something in London in 25. Has that got announced yet? Do we know that as a thing yet?
I feel like we talked about it. I think it's confirmed they're going to London. They're hosting something in London. I want to say it's a Mania. I feel like that was confirmed. And
I don't see anything yet.
Okay, well, it's definitely on the books. I remember the dude was like, if I get reelected, I'm talking to Triple H, and then he got reelected.
He's trying to get it.
So, I think this is cool for AEW to announce this. I think Australia, they have a decent amount. So I don't know how much of a work this was, but like when they promoted that they were going to do the Australia Grand Slam, Buddy Matthews was like, man, you guys did a whole promotion and not a single Australian talent was on there. So if that's true, I mean, I understand that gripe. And I think they have there's still plenty of time for AEW to deviate because you have Toni Storm, you have a Buddy Matthews, Fletcher. Fletcher. They have multiple Australian talent, so this would be the time to obviously put them in, some key stories or whatever, or not this time, but around the time we get there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they have time to fix that or to course correct that if they need to. And since Australia doesn't get AEW that often, if ever, this will be their first time. It should hopefully be a good turnout.
Yep.
Especially if you put Toni Storm in the forefront for that, like, or again a Murphy or a Fletcher, like, I don't know. It should be good. And then with the London stuff, I'm curious because I don't know this answer. Is Forbidden Door specifically just AEW versus New Japan, or
no?
Because last time Forbidden Door is like
it was like CMLL talent. That was Mercedes and Stephanie.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure because I was like. Because MJF just worked Rev Pro a couple weeks ago. I wonder how much Rev Pro talent they might have. There was talks of them signing that one guy that MJF fought, the black dude, and his valet, who's his actual lady. So I guess I'm curious to see how much Rev Pro are actual talent from the UK that they'll use in Forbidden Door. Because I feel like it's not mostly. I mean, you get Zack Sabre Jr. and stuff like that, but I feel like he's mostly tied to New Japan. There was a point in time where Ospreay was mostly tied to New Japan. So I feel like this is also a cool opportunity for them to be like, let's bring some of these Rev Pro people also to get a match.
That I would expect Grizzled Young Vets to have something next year as well. It's going to be very interesting. I think. For AEW, they're doing a really good job as far as like from here on out. Like we're starting to see the business moves come together. Because you were right to say like Australia hasn't seen a lot of AEW. And I think they just did a deal with like Australian ESPN because they had like All In on the ESPN for Australia, and so people were able to watch the pay-per-view for free through ESPN over there. But they're trying to make the right steps to get people to like tune into their product. So we're going to see. It's big moves. I do like the Australia pay-per-view. I do agree that Toni Storm should probably definitely, be on that card. I'm excited for the move. To keep in the realm of moves, we had a quick little rumor that got debunked earlier was that NXT was moving to Vegas. And my first original thought was like, that's interesting, because like I know they have like the whole like the Apex Arena there and whatnot, but then I was also like, you cannot take 20 to 25-year-olds, 26-year-olds, and throw them in Vegas. Like that's not a thing, bro. Don't do that. That's bad for business.
Oh man, you saw like those people that are like, we don't need football in Vegas. Look what will happen. And then when the Raiders finally get there, there's like 3 DUIs in the first like season.
Come on, bro. Come on. We can't do that. Fresh out of college, too. NILs in Vegas? Come on. Like, I got a mill in Vegas? Nah, not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I, for a moment, but on the plus side, for a moment there, I was like, damn, okay, if NXT is in Vegas, that means it's a lot easier for me to get to instead of like thinking about a trip from the Northwest all the way to fucking Orlando. I can definitely do Northwest to fucking Vegas.
Yeah.
And I would love to be inside like the NXT arena to kind of see how that energy feels and whatnot. So from a more selfish aspect, I was like, this could work. From a business aspect for a whole bunch of young talent, no, not even close, bro. What did you think for that brief moment before he got, killed?
I saw that and I was like, honestly, I saw that shit and I was like, there's no way. Like, it would be okay. So hypothetically, it would be cool if they had like a different branch, like a different division. Like, we'll have a base camp here to like so that not everyone has to all locate to Florida. But in the reverse of that, I couldn't imagine like moving, like because not even just the talent, like you're talking about the coaches, the Shawn Michaels, the A Trains, you like moving all them also from Florida to Nevada. It just didn't seem probable. It didn't seem like that would be real. So I was like, I instantly didn't like trust it. I was like, that seems kind of eh. But then again, like in my other brain, I was like, if they have other branches, because originally they wanted an NXT, like they had the NXT UK, they wanted to do an NXT Japan.
They did.
Like they wanted to have different bases or whatever in different divisions, and hypothetically, like, and that could work. And I was like, okay, if they do it that way, sure. But I didn't realistically see them move like Shawn Michaels and everybody else, all the talent moving to Vegas. And then to piggyback off what you said, like, granted, Florida is very, very lenient. They're not lenient on weed, but yeah, just having a bunch of NILs and shit in Vegas every day or like near Vegas, it could breed some problems. Just it could. I'm not saying it would, but it could. And yeah, it's just why do it? Where. And also, I think Dana White is just so anti WWE, but I can't. I also can't see that happening for that reason. Also. That man hates this partnership. He hates this partnership so fucking much.
I forgot about that. That's true. Keeping in like WWE Vegas and money and whatnot, we did get Swerve Strickland re-signing to AEW. Caused a brief little stir on the internet, a whole bunch of pocket watching.
Yeah, Meltzer was. Man, I can't. If you guys trust Meltzer in 2024, bro, this man has not made a single correct thing all year, and you guys still listen to him. It's like I have WWE sources telling me they gave Swerve too much money. Who in the fucking WWE's? No one in WWE's talking to you, bro. And again, like, can you imagine another company like, yeah, man, they gave that nigga too much money. I couldn't do it. Like, they're not going to say that.
And so, like, oh, man, because I did see that Swerve, I think he had responded to, I think the dude's name was like Raj Giri or something like that. And he was like, you want to see the text? And the dude deleted his tweet. So, like, that's what agents are for, right? Yeah. Agents are to go out there and see what your market value is. That is the job of an agent, right? As far as the agent talking to Dave, I don't fucking know. I'm not in that world. I just watch the fucking product. But this is also normal for like sports worlds too. Yeah. If the Phoenix Suns is like, yeah, we're gonna give KD 70 mil, the Denver Nuggets might be like, y'all get that nigga too much money. Like that's just normal conversation.
Yeah, it's too much for me, big dog. It's just the way that they portrayed it, where it's like they make it like, oh man, you gave him way too much money. I can like it just. Like, you're right. That is normal in sports world. So it's like, I would, at this point, yeah, show us the text. Because the way that Dave was reporting it made it sound like malicious, where it's like, you can't pay that man that much money. He's not worth it type of thing, or some shit. Like, it just made because it caused, that's what caused the quote unquote stir. It was just the way it was portrayed and reported.
And it's like, who's to say what your worth is, right? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, well, WWE knows my worth better than AEW. He's like, no, go get the fucking bag. That's with all of them, bro. That's when I say the same shit when it comes to Seth, when it comes to like Swerve, anybody who resigns, get your fucking money. You guys put your bodies on the line day in and day out. Like, I don't care what y'all making. Just make sure y'all happy. Y'all can take care of y'all family. As far as the internet, them niggas is weird. That shit was funny though, because everybody's like, oh, well, you know, the they're like, Triple H don't pay black talent. And I'm like, fuck, all right. You know, this is the second time that we've seen this where, like, even with Mercedes, like, oh, I'll try to get this money. They were like, no, we don't want to give her that. So I'm not going to put that on his jacket, but black people get your money.
Yeah. Period. And it's not just about money. It's also schedule and blah, blah, blah. Like Mercedes wants.
Yeah, absolutely.
She wanted a private jet. She wants a lackadaisical schedule. And they're like, hey,
yeah,
we could give you one out of these three things, but I'm not giving you all three.
We can't give you everything.
You know?
Right.
As far as the Swerve contract, I think it's a good I think him staying there is actually good.
Yeah.
And that's not even me being a hater on him. I think him staying there is actually good. Granted, I know Triple H likes him, and Triple H wanted him.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure he would treat him right, but that's a different universe. He's staying at AEW. He should, and let's just see how his projection goes from now. Ever since we'll get into it, but we'll see where he goes from here. And yeah, I mean, I think it was good for TK to keep him. So
yeah, I did like the idea. They were like, it was Swerve and Nana. They wanted both. Like, yeah, let's take you and your boy, bring them both over here. Like, that was kind of crazy too. And that also shows that, like, Nana's worth within, like, the Swerve, like, universe is that, like, Nana's a huge part of Swerve's character right now.
Yeah.
And that was kind of cool to see, is that the manager is also as valued with, you know, the talent. Keeping on contracts, we got legend contracts from Jesse Ventura and Victoria. They're talking about, I think Jesse was with Van Vliet, and he was talking about how, like, he's trying to sign a Legends contract, except the only thing that's waiting is just 2 signatures, which I love that. Jesse Ventura has been very anti-Vince, anti-Hulk Hogan. He's trying to get, like, a wrestlers union started, which I would have agreed with back then, because, you know, you see the Legends then, and, like, the health issues, the concussions, the brain injuries, like, all this shit, bro. Like, they definitely needed that shit back then. They still need it now, too. But shout out to Jesse. Jesse gonna get his contract. Victoria, which is a name I haven't heard in a really long time, but she was prime, you know, women's wrestling in, like, the 2003, the Attitude or the Ruthless Aggression era had a lot of Victoria in it. I think she also did some work with, like, TNA too. So definitely shout out to, like, you know, the E for going back and treating, like, those legends right. Like, I think that's very important, especially when you're seeing, like, you know, just your legends die. Like, there's been like a couple of them, you know, in the month, and, like, you're doing right by taking care of them.
Man, I'm okay with that. Yeah, we just lost 3, like, or 4 in, like, the last month and a half.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's cool. And you know, if you guys like, I mean, just watching Raw the last couple months, like, yeah, you saw like when we saw Jesse Ventura with CM Punk in that backstage photo at Raw, it was like, man, yeah, hell froze over again twice, because that's how detached and far away Ventura was from E, and how much, like, he hated Vince and all this other stuff. And now that Vince is gone, like, you're seeing a lot of these previously damaged relationships get mended, such as Victoria. Victoria's not I think she's the only woman to recently sign a contract, but a couple months ago we saw, not Michelle McCool, but we saw another women's legend. I can't think of her name right now. We've been seeing a lot of legends recently, and I remember seeing a report where I want to say it was that same Raw that Ventura was there, that had Mark Henry there, that had what was that? It's not Michelle McCool, it was someone else. But there was a report that came out from Fightful. It was like the higher ups, the Triple H's or whatever, they're like talking to the talent. Not that they needed to, I guess, but, you know, there's like, we got some legends here. You know, you treat these legends with respect. You know, we're trying to mend fences. You know, build shit back up. You know,
right.
And I think they've been doing a good job at it. And, like, you know, and now they get to get paid. They get to get money that was just left on the table due to bad relationships or how you left the company or whatever. So we'll get to see
bigger bag.
Yeah.
You would have ever gotten in the 80s, 90s. Like,
Victoria will probably be in the next 2K, and that's going to be a nice ass check.
Nice little bag. Just money that like you didn't have this year that you're gonna get next year. Like I'm cool with that, bro. Like shout out to them for taking care of the legends.
Yeah.
Uh,
As far as contract, because to stay in the contract realm, we got a couple that are expiring, and then one that still hasn't been signed.
correct.
So apparently, Kevin Owens' contract is coming up. He recently it looks like because he had a contract come up a couple years ago, aka 3 years ago. It doesn't seem like it was that long, but it was, because this was right before the Mania where he fought Stone Cold.
Yeah,
he had contracts up, and then like literally every week you see people like, look how upset he looks. I can't wait for him to leave, like all this other stuff. So expect to see that kind of reaction. Like anytime he like puts his head on the ring post and looks sad or some shit like that. So
but that's how Kevin Owens always looks. I don't know, like
yeah.
he's not doing anything different. Like,
No,
he always looks like that.
It's just funny to see that. Just like, oh my god, look, he looks upset. He can't wait to leave. I can't wait to.
Man,
it didn't help because like, it came out.
Yo, you know how I mean? Kevin Steen, like forbidden moves I've been seeing on Twitter. It's like, bro, relax, relax. And then he came out and said that, like, you know, he doesn't have a relationship with Punk. Like, he was just like, I don't talk to Buddy. Like, you know, we don't really got going. I don't like the guy. We got nothing going on. And that just fueled the flames even more. Yeah,
which is
you're starting to see, like,
which is ridiculous. Man, it's normal. I have coworkers I don't like and I don't talk to. I feel like everyone has a coworker.
Yeah, fine, bro.
Especially in a big company. Like,
we don't even cross paths, bro.
Yeah, there's like 100 niggas here. I don't talk to one of them.
He don't smack, like, we don't cross paths. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? But yeah, it's been a lot of Kevin Steen and BTE clips and whatnot. And, you know, he did say like he only has like 5 or 6 more years left. And if I had to lean on the side of like, I don't know, I think he probably wants to go wrestle with his friends, like all of them do. And I'm okay with whatever he does. It's Kevin Owens. Personally, I would like to see him continue like this feud that he has with Cody for a little bit longer. And we'll get into that for Bash in Berlin when we talk about Bash. But like, there's some shit that I would like to see Kevin Owens do before he like departs or he stays or whatever. Like, let's just focus on what he's doing right now.
Yeah, what he's been doing has been great. Like, he's had a really good last 3-4 years. He main evented WrestleMania. He fought Stone Cold at WrestleMania. Like, yes, he hasn't won a world championship.
The Bloodline story.
Yeah, pivotal. Hasn't won the world championship in 7 years. But again, like, that's not everyone needs championships. It's crazy, but not everyone needs championships. And I mean, that's a whole other conversation. But as far as like him goes, like, he has been a main character in a lot of crazy shit in just the last 3 years. So
yeah, he's used.
Like he's used. He's like, so I don't want to see any. He was fumbled shit. I swear to God, I'll be upset.
No. Kevin Owens is not fumbled.
Yeah. But yeah, no. I think he should stay. But if he decides to go, that's fine too. Whatever's happy for him and like his children, because he has a son and a girl. Whatever's best.
Last episode, I did say, bro, you know, Eddie Kingston and Kevin Owens. We're this close. We this close to getting that shit to happen. It's a possibility.
It is.
Keeping it contracts. Saraya's contract looks like it's coming up. This is another one I feel like AEW's probably gonna re-sign. I think if WWE did reach out, I don't think they would use her in the way that she's been used in AEW. I think they've already been on that boat. That ship's kind of like sailed. That's just me personally. But and even then, like here we go. Keyword. Word of the podcast. Market value. I don't know if the market value for Saraya is like as high as what, you know, people think it is right now. You know, like
no, it's definitely not.
So like, I'm trying to be as respectful as possible. I'm not trying to throw any shade or nothing like that. But as far as like the demand for bags and stuff like that, I don't think it's there. But I also do like the work that she has done when she is shown on AEW. Like, I did like what she did in the pre-show for All In, where she was like trying to find her spot. Also, again, All In or Forbidden Door is going to London next year, so like there's still ties there as well. So we'll see, but I have a strong feeling she'll stay within AEW.
I am begging Tony Khan to re-sign her. Please do not give Triple H any ideas. Keep her. keep her over there. I don't want her on my other television show, personally. So please, Tony Khan, sign her.
Good God. All right.
Oh, real quick.
Let's get. Yo.
We can. No, we can actually tie it to the show. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All In. We're gonna start off with All In. That was the first pay-per-view. We didn't get a chance to talk about it. We're gonna talk about it right now. I checked the pre-show out. Just to go through real quickly on the pre-show.
16-man tag. Why?
16-man tag.
Hate it,
bro. Too much. I get it. Everybody is gonna be on the pay-per-view. I know last year they got some backlash from whoever or wherever, where they're like people were pissed off that they weren't on the show. 16 tag is just
it's
too much for me.
It was a 14-match card. People can be look, man. Sometimes like
too much for me.
Tony, you gotta be a dad sometimes, bro. You gotta know when to say no. You know, honestly, as the great Kenny Rogers, you gotta know when to hold them. You gotta know when to fold them. And sometimes you gotta be like, nah. Like, I'm sorry you didn't make this card. It's already 15 matches and it's already 4 hours of a show. Like, just sorry. But I at the same time, I have a slight respect for it's like he's trying to pay everybody. Everybody's getting a check today. So I do. There's a part of that which I have respect for. But then again, a 16-man tag match? Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
it was a lot.
Too many cooks.
That was a lot.
Too many cooks.
Yeah, for sure. It was a lot. Next up, we get the mixed tag with Stokely and Stat versus Ishii and Willow. This was a good one. I enjoyed it. It was a very fun match. It wasn't like anything you would take too seriously just because like it is Stokely in the match. But like he came out in the Remember the Time fit, bro, and I popped instantly. I was like, why is he being like he was being carried out? And I was like, is this nigga doing Remember the Time like Michael Jackson? And it was fucking hilarious. I loved it. He does get a nice little spine buster spot on Ishii in this, and I'm like,
yeah, that spine buster was clean.
It was clean. It was very funny, bro. It's a good match. When we first talked about it, I was like, damn, I wouldn't have rated this match high. We had talked about the rankings of like the women's talent on AEW, and I didn't know that this was the match to create the stipulation for the 1v1, which is at All Out. So I probably would have rated a little bit differently, we ordered the rankings of the women's matches on the card. And I think this one was third. And never mind. I take that back. Scratch that. It still would have been third. But however, this was a fun match. Stipulation got chose. They're doing a street fight at All Out. That's going to happen next Saturday.
How do you feel about that stipulation?
Like a street fight?
Yeah, like Willow choosing a street fight.
I mean, I'm very fucking extreme with shit, so my head was immediately like, steel cage! But
yeah, honestly, I think a cage would have made more sense just to keep Stokely out, quote unquote.
Yeah, but they use that for Swerve Hangman. So
yeah,
they get a steel cage. I guess you could have did both. It's already there. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Because you're right. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, this show happened first, so I forgot about that part. I forgot about the Swerve.
Yeah. So like Street Fight's cool. We just saw a great one this week with Naya and Michin. Like that was
really cool.
I'm cool with Street Fights. The women can get down and dirty too.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Next up, it gets a little scratchy because I was trying to like hurry the fuck up. It was a Cage of Agony match with Undisputed Kingdom versus Dustin, Sammy, Shibata, and the Von Erichs. That was really cool. That was a fun match. There was the Wolverine thing where Cage and Sammy were both Wolverine, like, and people were having a fit over that.
Yeah, well, that's like it's because it's stupid. I wouldn't say you should. No one should. You shouldn't have a. I wouldn't say you should have a fit over it, but it was stupid, especially because Cage has won that fit before. Like, so
that's his shit.
Yeah, like he like, and then like honestly, if I'm Cage, I'm hitting you really stiff, my nigga. Like, how are you gonna match me? Like, it's like
he calls it out in the match.
Yeah, okay,
that was the funniest part.
Yeah, it's like, if anything, you should have dressed as Deadpool or something. Like, be topical.
But see, here's a tie-in. Sammy was Wolverine. Dustin was Deadpool. So together they were Wolverine and Deadpool. And that's what, like, when you see the pictures of Dustin and Sammy separately, it looks fucking fire. It just looks weird when they're in the match and it's like Dustin's over here and then Sammy's over here and Sammy's also fighting Brian Cage. But they were doing Wolverine and Deadpool.
Okay, yeah, no, I can see the face paint now. It's just, I know, it's just one of those things where we talked about it before in wrestling. It's like, if I'm doing a table spot, the next match shouldn't also have a table spot, at least a similar one. And so you'll dress the same as your op. I don't.
It was confusing because I was very confused.
All it takes is one text message, one FaceTime call, nigga. What you wearing?
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
Yeah, that's it.
What you got? Oh, you wearing that? Okay, let me put on the blue boots or maybe put on the green boots or something. Just switch it up a little bit just to get a little different.
It's clearly Sammy and Dustin talk, so it's like they.
They orchestrated.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. It was funny though. But, we then get Saraya. The Saraya Knight family come out. She brings all her family out to the ring, talking about, like, you know, I'm your queen. How dare you not give me a match? XYZ. Just throwing a fit. And then we get the big return of Jamie Hayter. Big pop for Jamie Hayter. Came out looking fresh. The fit was clean. The hairstyle was different. Like, she looks like a different, like, you know, Jamie Hayter. I did see the issues with her popping off on the pre-show.
Yeah.
They're like, why did you say this? You know, like, why did you say this for, you know, the pre-show? And I think that's kind of like, it's like, hey, come watch the pre-show. You never know what might happen. So for the people who have been watching the pre-show and haven't got any pops or whatnot, you did get a big one with Jamie Hayter. I like it. It's a good way to reward the fans that do watch the matches before the show. It also gets people to tune in because they're like, oh shit, there might be more surprises on the pre-show. Jamie popped out. Also then seeing the We Got Becky Lynch, and it's like, bro, relax. Like, let these women be who they are. Like, not every redhead is fucking Becky Lynch, and I'm okay, like, just letting Jamie Hayter be Jamie Hayter. Like, that's it, bro. Like, we ain't got to compare the women.
No. Yeah. I saw like Timu Becky tweets or whatever.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Because she looked great. There was nothing bad about the way Jamie Hayter came out, what she looked like, the gear, everything was fire.
This leads into the first. Wait, real quick. I do agree with what you said about making the pre-show feel important, but the overall show is already long as shit.
It is,
and then if you add the pre-show, it's even longer. And not everyone has that time. Not everyone I'm sure there's some diehards that missed this because of, you know, the time length they're trying to like.
Oh, for sure.
It's just what like. Jamie Hayter was she was really huge before she left, and I feel like it would have been better to like have Saraya, like, it could have been one of those moments, you know, in between matches on the actual show.
Yeah,
and just like have Saraya come out and be like, no, F this, I want a match. Then have Jamie Hayter return, body slam or some shit, and then you get the pop of her returning. You know, to me, that would have been better than having this having this on the pre-show, because you would have had more eyes on it. And she was huge before she got injured. Like she was that girl. So
she was.
I'm not gonna make a fuss about it, but I do agree with the people who were like, yeah, like, why on the pre-show, like, yeah, I don't know. It just it's
no, you're not wrong.
Backwards. But
because there's definitely spots like there's a. We'll get into it. Like the pay-per-view was really fucking good, but there's definitely some matches that I could just been without. We could have swapped some shit for sure. Yeah. That's how it usually is with all AEW pay-per-views. But to double back on like the pre-show, I usually don't watch the pre-show. I'll only watch the pre-show because I was already up mad early for this pay-per-view. I was already up. I was like, let me just fucking tune in and just see what the fuck's going on. Usually I catch like the last bit of it and then I'll watch like the pay-per-view and whatnot. And that's also a plus to, you know, having early pay-per-views. I will watch the pre-show.
Yeah.
This leads into the first match, which is the Trios London Ladders match. House of Black, Gun Club, Wheeler, Claudio, Pac versus the Patriarchy. Big thing that I noticed is that the Pac pop was insane. Like, they wanted this moment for him. He wanted this moment. The match was really cool. The ladders were really small, and thought I was like fucking still tired, but the ladders look a little tiny, and I was like, this is kind of interesting. And then they brought out the bigger ladders later on in the match. But I think they just hung the belts too like low, so they had to like minimize the fucking ladders. Killswitch has a dope like chokeslam party. Nick Wayne does a great like cutter through the table, and Brody. Nick Wayne was actually getting he was getting the young bumps, like, oh, you're young, you'll live. So the table spots, the barricade spots, like he was getting all the shit that you would get to get beat up was going to him. He took a destroyer like into the table. That was fucking crazy. It was a good match. It was really fun, really energetic. Pac and the Blackpool Combat Club ends up getting this one, and they're the new trios champions, which was interesting to me when I first saw it, because I was like, well, Pac isn't really part of BCC.
No.
That's, Daniel and Moxley. I was like, that was kind of interesting. But also at the same time, from what the rumors were, like this was supposed to be the Lucha Bros spot. It's supposed to be, or Death Triangle. So it's supposed to be Death Triangle. And then with this, I think it might have also been a quick little pivot because Mox is telling the story on AEW this week. That was like, oh, was Mox not in BCC? Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with Mox, but he's out there recruiting talent. So definitely a lot going on here. It definitely looks like an audible for sure. But Pac gets his Wembley moment. Claudio and them look great, like, and they're going to be the trio champ. I have nothing bad to say about this, especially if it was an audible. If this was like written on paper, this is what you wanted to do. Kind of questionable, but for an audible, I'm not mad.
Yeah, I'm fine with
it. From here we get tied with match of the pay-per-view, Mariah May versus Toni Storm. I think these women had a fucking ball. I think the match was really fucking good. We get oh shit, where the fuck's my notes? So far, the production has been great as far as like entrances and whatnot. I really noticed it here with Toni Storm coming out. Spots for this match, there was a great like ring apron powerbomb from Mariah May. Mariah also slaps her own mother in the crowd, which was, I did not expect that shit to happen. That shit was kind of crazy.
I didn't care.
I was like,
that is the cheapest of cheap heat. Like, why did you randomly slap her? There's no story behind it. You just slapped your mom.
We ain't never seen your mom before.
No.
I was like, okay.
Like, was she a bad mother? Was she like Rey Mysterio? Was she a deadbeat? Like, why did you slap her?
I don't know, bro. That shit was so crazy. I was watching. It's still early. I'm watching. I'm like, did she just slap her mom? Like, what the fuck is going on here? That shit was funny because like before the match, they pan over like, oh, her mom's here. And then in the middle of the match, she's going just. Psh. That shit was funny as fuck, but very random. Definitely cheap heat.
Just like, I don't know. It was the worst part of the match. It had nothing to do with the match. It was just preposterous.
Nah, it was just
the match overall. The match was good though.
Match was great. They had a great time. Stormbreaker on Steel Steps was great. The story here was that Mariah or Toni had the ability to end Mariah. She had the shoe in the hand, ready to like take her out. Hesitates because it's the master pupil angle, and by her hesitating, you open the door for Mariah to get the win. And she gets the win by hitting her own finisher on her. My overall thoughts was that it's a storybook finish. They finished the story of Mariah May and Toni Storm. I think it was like a year-long story that we've been telling here. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the fact that we got, although at Rocky sometimes it was a continuous story, and the end result in the match or in the ring was great. This was a success in my eyes for AEW. I think this was probably one of the best women's stories of the past year, if not the best women's story. And I'm interested to see where they go now. Toni has not popped back up on AEW TV as far as I know. And then Mariah hasn't done anything yet either. I think she had her promo where she was supposed to come out this Wednesday. I didn't take notes. I should have took notes.
Yes, I think she came out. I don't remember if she said anything. But, she sauntered her way out with the title, I can tell you who was there. Mina. And she looked very nice.
I saw the Mina tweets, bro. I saw the Meltzer Mina tweet. Like niggas is horny over Mina. That shit was kind of crazy. She did one clip with doing the Daniel Garcia, and then everybody lost their goddamn mind.
Yeah, man. I was a part of that crowd. I didn't post that publicly though. You know, I just kept it to myself.
No. For sure. Next match was Hook versus Jericho. I am done. I thought it was good. It had its moments. It didn't. It died out when Joe and them left. I am done. I don't want to see Hook Jericho do something with it. Get it away. Get away from me.
There's so many pictures and video of everyone going to the bathroom during this match.
Nigga had his band come out. He was performing.
Yeah,
nigga, they're not here for Fozzy. They're not here for you.
Facts, especially when they're gonna do the song.
You thought you was Kobe, nigga? They don't love you like that. Like, no. I was like, is he performing right now? Get the fuck out of here, bro. It sets up like this match. Let's just cut to it. Hook gets his belt. The FCW belt is back in Hook's hands. There was a couple spots in here that were like interesting. I think he brought out the cricket paddle, or I think that's what it's called. It was a big wooden fucking paddle that he was hitting Jericho with. I think
it's a cricket bat. I think
a cricket bat. Yeah. He had a dope suplex with the cricket bat. The crowd was also chanting, "We want Big Bill," because in Cardiff, Big Bill had face heat. Like they were chanting for Big Bill as like he was the baby face. And you got more of that tonight or that night. There's a point in the match where there's 3-on-1 against Hook. It was Jericho, Bill, Brian Keith, and they're jumping Hook. And Taz is still on the mic. I'm like, Taz, you watching your son get jumped 3-on-1? If you don't get your ass up and go do something,
for real,
you're saying like, oh, it's so unfair that like, you know, he's getting jumped. Like he can't. I'm like, Taz, get up. And after that, Taz did get up, and that's when they set up the Taz mission spot, and Hook gets the win.
Yeah. Bruh, I'm over this, bruh. I'm
over the FTW, and I hate that I have to say it like that, but and I think he got some shit for it in the press conference because they asked him like, the dude misspoke, but so like, oh, you know, it's the people jokingly taking the FTW title like seriously and whatnot, and like it caused some heat online where Tony like was like, hey, it's not a joke, you know, there is some illustrious talent who had it. Taz came out on Twitter and was like, maybe it's run its course, you know, maybe like it has done its thing. And then also just like with Hook, and like Hook just has no personality. Like he has no nothing to make it feel dope. There's nothing about Hook's character that's like translating really well. And maybe it has run its course. Maybe the FTW should just, you know, just legacy it and leave it at that.
Yeah, I believe it should, because it doesn't mean anything. If they made it an official AEW title, I guess you could keep it. But even then, why do people like? I don't like, because eventually Roddy on Wednesday, Roddy comes out and we're gonna get Roddy versus Hook or something like that. And it's one of those things where, why do people even want this? It's not real. Like, why do people want it? And the reason, one of the biggest reasons I'm over this, just this whole shit, is that do you remember what Hook did last year at All In?
No.
He fought Jack Perry for the FW title.
He did,
yeah, and he did that same thing a year later. There's like, there's no growth, and part of that is due to the personality. But it's like, y'all gotta try to do something different with this kid. This kid has potential. Like when he first debuted, like he had aura. Like he like motherfuckers was really fucking with Hook, and now it's to the point where it's just the Hook isn't.
I think it's because he started talking. Like Hook should never said anything. Once he started talking, and it was like, oh, it kind of ruined the allure of like the dope like suplex dude. It's like this crazy New York accent, like, you know, but not cool. Like you're not making it sound cool. You're not like Eddie Kingston gonna come out and give you some New York bullshit, but you know, like that's him. That's who he is. It feels authentic when it's Eddie Kingston. But like with Hook, it's like I don't know if it's raspy.
He don't be saying
And
shit.
maybe that's it. Maybe Eddie Kingston just sound like he was part of Dipset in 03. Maybe that's it. All right. But like it just something about his character just has to change a little bit. I still have a lot of hope in Hook and him finding his potential because he's a great wrestler. Like he's definitely a suplex machine. He is his daddy's son. But like just as far as like character wise, we gotta work on something. Like this Jericho feud didn't do anything for him. I think Joe was definitely a huge part of Hook's like development. I think he should have stuck with Joe a little bit longer, but Joe had movie commitments and shit like that. Not blaming Joe. Yeah, overall I could have done without it. It's cool. Like just maybe I don't even know because I love Roderick Strong too, and I don't think Roderick Strong, as great of a wrestler as he is, like does that push this title anywhere forward unless Roderick just goes on this crazy fucking spree.
Which is fine,
but I don't know.
It's not going to make the title mean anything. It's still
it's like
it's still considered a prop as far as
and it's still tied. It's maybe that's it too. Maybe the fact that it's still tied to an individual. Like
it's tied
this
to
belt
an individual
is always
who can't wrestle
tied
because he's
to Taz.
injured.
like
he's a commentator. We have a title that's tied to a commentator. He's not at first he was a manager, so that made a little more sense. But he's not a manager anymore.
Right? Yeah. You're not wrong.
It's
next up.
Yeah.
Next up, we get the tag team championship match, the trio between or triple threat between FTR, Young Bucks, The Acclaimed. While this match is entertaining as hell to me, I think there's just way too many wrestlers in the ring. I think as far as like action and like the spots that were happening, I think those were great. Max ends up doing an EVP trigger and a shatter machine, which was a really fun spot to do. I just think that like I don't know. Too many of them have the same kind of styles, right? When you do triple threat tag teams, like you were kind of expecting 3 individual tag teams to have 3 different styles. And in this aspect, the Bucks is like the high flyer tag team because I would say maybe The Acclaimed. I don't fucking know. But they're all very similar. I think they're all ground and pound kind of like wrestlers here. I think there was no like marquee excitement teams. Like, if you have your top flights in here, they're going to do their flying spots and whatnot.
To me, there just wasn't a lot of chemistry. Like,
it just, and maybe that was it too. Maybe that was the key part, is that there just wasn't a lot of chemistry that was going on in this match. Even so, as I'm watching the match, I was like, man, actually, I think the Young Bucks need to retain this. I think they are the best option or the best outcome for this match. Because I was thinking like, well, I don't want to see Acclaim going on a run right now. I'm kind of over Max Caster, or just the rapping ability, the rapping spot of Max Caster. FTR, like we've seen it, and they're just going to like ground and pound with the belts until they run into somebody else, maybe the Young Bucks again. And then as far as like storylines that you can do with the Young Bucks, if they still have the belt, you can still wait for a babyface tag team to build their heat, and then have their moment and whatnot. They were the best options to win it. They do end up winning it due to there's a title shot to the head of Dax, followed by an EVP trigger. But the biggest part of this match was what came afterwards, and we got the arrival of the Grizzly Young Vets. Heavily rumored to be signing with AEW. It was funny because I got them and Motor City confused a lot. But yeah, Grizzly Young Vets are here in AEW. They came out and let it be known that they're coming after all 3 of them, the Acclaimed, the Bucks, and FTR. And previously, I think Grizzly Young Vets was in NXT, right? They were part of Schism, if I'm not like mistaken.
Yes, they were.
I thought they were.
No, they were. But before that, they had a hell of a run in NXT UK. Like I like the Grizzly Young Veterans. They can really work. There's this one match in NXT UK. It's them versus Subculture versus Gallus, I think, and then someone else. It was like a ladder match. It was like a 4-way ladder match. The shit was fire.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, Grizzly Young Vets, they're talented. The bald one, I mean, they both can talk, but the bald one, can't think of his name right now. I think he might be Zach. Yeah, no, I think Zach Gibson. I think he's the bald one. He can speak. He's good on the mic. So yeah, they both are good on the mic. They're both good in ring. I think this is a good get. My only thing is like, are they going to be used consistently? Because there's only so many new shiny toys that Khan keeps on the main show before he sends them to ROH Shadow Realm or whatever. So I'm curious to see how much TV time they'll get, and also I'm curious.
Yeah, they needed.
Why the fuck are Maximum Male Models on Dynamite? You got them on in the Shadow Realm too. I don't know.
They were on Collision. They were definitely wrestling on Collision. I don't know if they'd made their Dynamite appearance yet. I do know they have a match with House of Black next week, I think.
That should be fun.
So they're going against them. As far as like Grizzly Young Vets, AEW needs an injection in the tag team.
Yeah.
This is what they need. It's a nice dose to get like revitalized tag team division. Because when AEW first started, their tag teams were fucking like solid. It was a great time to be a tag in AEW. I think they kind of lost that a little bit, but this is a great injection to get them back to, at least on that path. This is followed up by the Casino Gauntlet match, which is a combination of a Royal Rumble and a Battle Royal by pinfall. And Money in the Bank, because whoever wins this gets an opportunity to cash in anytime, anywhere. So it's a combo of like 3 different like concepts. Yeah. But I think AEW's found its footing with this concept. This was a huge like energy boost. This was a really, really fucking fun match to watch. Okada and OC open up the match. As far as like contestants in this match, we get a big pop for.
I have the order entry. So you get Orange, you get Orange Cassidy, Okada, and then you get the big pop. I'm assuming you're about to talk about was Nigel Mcguiness.
Yep.
He looked good. Looked good shape. Then we get Kyle O'Reilly, Zack Sabre Jr., Roderick Strong, Mark Briscoe, Hangman Adam Page, Jeff Jarrett. We get a debut, then Christian, and then we get Luchasaurus, which is known as Killshot. So it looks like he went to his previous character, and I'm like, oh, what's this about? But before, as far as the concept of the match goes, it's an interesting. The thing I don't like is because honestly, there's some War Games-esh to it too, where it's like, yeah, it's Royal Rumble-esque because multiple people come out at a random time. They come out at a random time, but it's like the match could end at any moment as long as someone gets point. So it's like, which I guess does bring excitement to it, but also, I don't know. I'm indifferent on it. I don't hate it. It's just like the match could technically end with the first 2 people. If you get that finisher off real quick, like the match could end, or there could be like 30 people out. So, right. I don't know, but so I'm indifferent on it. But the concept is cool.
The concept was definitely different. Because when I came into it, I was like, what is that? We've had Casino Gauntlet matches before. That's how Ospreay got his shot at the International. But it was dope. Big pop for, like we said, Nigel Mcguiness, who I wasn't familiar with at all. I had to do my research because they were going fucking nuts for Nigel Mcguiness. I was like, whoa, what the fuck did I miss? Oh, yeah. And Nigel had a long history of wrestling, and then it just came short due to like an injury that happened in the ring. I think it was like a blood infection or something like that. And he just hasn't wrestled until All In, and they went fucking bananas. Like, it was fucking crazy. The amount of UK people on my Twitter was going fucking nuts for Nigel Mcguiness. So that was really cool to see. Hangman coming in was also one of those ones where it's like, oh damn, Hangman might win. This is how he gets his way to Swerve and whatnot. I'm glad that didn't happen due to the way that he pops up later in the show. But we get the Ricochet debut. And I like it, man. I'm not gonna lie. I think I said something to the sense of like, go get it, go get paid, go do your thing, man. Do what you want to do. The running gag is when you go to AEW, your moveset becomes unlocked. So go do the shit that you wanted to do on the indies. Do the shit that you were doing before. He said that, like, I think he came out and said that he's had some of the most fun in his career with the people that were backstage in AEW. So he has a lot of friends back there. He looks really happy. I'm happy for him. Like, don't know what to expect just yet, but he looks good so far. And he also had a great match against Kyle Fletcher this week too. So shout out to Ricochet, man.
Yeah, shout out to Ricochet. That is a running gag. I would say with Ricochet, I don't think it's a running gag because I feel like everything he's done, at least thus far, I for sure seen Ricochet do. So
Sure.
I don't know if that gag applies to him. Is all I'm saying.
To him,
Because yeah, I mean he's always done from since Lucha Underground until now.
NXT Black and Gold.
Yeah, like I've seen him do some crazy shit.
Crazy
so
shit.
yeah, I don't know if the gag applies to him, but I'm happy for him. I also question, like, this isn't the first time they debuted someone in like these kind of gauntlets or whatever. I just feel like the same way I was questioning Hater, I'm questioning this one as well. I feel like if he's supposed to be the next like crazy big signing that they got, I feel like they could have presented him a little different, a little better. Not saying he was presented badly. I'm just like it could have been on a different caliber, perhaps. Like maybe he helps Will in his match or something. I don't know, but it's not. It wasn't bad. He got some pyro. That was cool.
Yeah,
he showed out for like the 3 minutes he was in before he like just disappeared due to like getting knocked out or whatever. But yeah, man, we'll see what I'm very curious on the because when Tony, one of the things Mariah May said when Tony got her to sign was that he had a plan. Like at least he had like he had a. That's why it's one of their best, if not if not the best storyline they've had. In like at least
it's probably the best storyline.
It's easily one of the best storylines they've had with Mariah May and Tony. So it's like I wonder if he has a plan for Ricochet, or is the plan just like eventually we'll just get him and Will? Like is that the end all be all? Is just we get him and Will, or do you have championships aspirations for him, type of thing? Only time will tell. So that's what I'm more curious about is Ricochet. Because like when they signed Claudio, he's supposed to be this world crazy talent, and Claudio's done good things there, but he's not world champion or anything like that. And I know a lot of people fan base wise think Ricochet is a main champion, main card, top level talent. So I wonder if that's where they're going to place him. Or is he going to stay in the mid card? Because if he stays in the mid card, then he's doing the exact same thing he was in the E. He's just doing it with his friends, which is fine. He's just like we just have to have these honest conversations as fans, and as this bullshit tribalism goes, it's like. Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
I think the issue with like Ricochet was not necessarily like it was how frequently he was used and what he was being used for. Because you're right, Ricochet was definitely mid card. He was going IC, United States, but it was like infrequently. One moment he's here, the next moment he's not here, and then he pops up again. Oh, we got a ladder match for Money in the Bank, and then his usage was so up and down.
Yeah, like
there was no true like story like build for Ricochet. So as long as like he's mid card and he's being used, I think that's a win-win. As far as like the storyline that I think they're going to tell, I think that All Out, I think Pac beats Ospreay, and I think that you go and do fucking Ricochet Pac, and then kind of like have them feud. I don't know. That's just how I'm feeling right now.
I don't think I don't think Pac is beating Ospreay. I don't think they're going to make him a double champion. And also, I don't think Ospreay is going to lose his third match in 3 months.
Man,
especially if the end game is Will versus Ospreay, I could see. Or I'm sorry, Will versus Ricochet, or Ricochet versus Ospreay. I feel like he's going to retain, and he'll probably keep that title until Ricochet. I would honestly, I'll call it right now. Time. The card is always subject to change, but I'm thinking Ricochet is the one that takes the title off of Will, so that we can finally get him to the fucking AEW Championship.
Okay,
that's my.
All right.
That's
I
my
can see
early,
that like
that's
a
my early call now. He's gonna
revolution kind of thing.
He's gonna drop it to his friend because he wants the world. I want all the world to know how good Ricochet really is. So based on how he handled the Swerve match, I wouldn't be surprised if Bruv drops the title to Ricochet, so that we all know how good Ricochet really is.
Power of friendship.
Yeah,
I see.
Believe it.
We definitely believe him. That's fucking funny. Christian Cage ends up winning the shot. He wins the Casino Gauntlet, so he gets the shots at the AEW Championship whenever he feels like it. And this is due to like Luchasaurus coming in, having the opportunity to win it for himself, but instead pulls Christian Cage over, and Christian gets the 1, 2, 3. My thoughts was I definitely didn't see Christian winning. However, he is probably the best plug and play heel in AEW. Like for everybody, he's what Jericho think he is. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. But I can go out and say I think the way you think Jericho affects people is the way Christian Cage does. Christian Cage is a great trampoline to help baby faces get off.
Yeah, and honestly, out of all the list that we named of all the participants in this match, I'm relooking at it's the best. That was the best choice. That was the best choice because you don't want to put it on Ricochet, especially if he's going to lose. That first match, and then like Roderick Strong, no, Okada,
no, Hangman's too predictable.
Yeah, Hangman was too predictable. Granted, we didn't know who was going to win this title match between Swerve and Daniel, but even then, too predictable.
Yeah, either way, yeah.
And then Jeff Jarrett, no. Kyle O'Reilly, nah. Yeah, so it was and then it's not going to be Nigel. And honestly, Briscoe is like if Swerve kept the title, Mark Briscoe would have been interesting. I would say that would have been my second choice, but Christian Cage,
he's still ROH champion. We got to figure out what the hell we want to do with him in the ROH title.
Yeah, that's true. He could just drop it like how Joe did. Just I don't want this no more.
That was gangsta. That was G. That was G. Joe did that. He did that in Portland. He was like, I'm done with this shit.
It's
and
then
G, went on to be one of the greatest AEW AEW champions. Like
just be double champ. To me, it's more G to be like, I'll do this and I'll do that. But then again, sometimes you don't want a lot on your when you the real kingpin, you don't want a lot on your plate.
Man, he fucking put Keith Lee in a sleeper and dropped the belt. I was like, this nigga's a G. One of my things with Christian Cage is that we got to figure out this whole tug of war story between him and Luchasaurus needs to start amping up. This is a time where we got to like start figuring out like where this ball is going. They've been doing this for a minute. There's been moments where like the crowd has been into like Luchasaurus like. Or kill switch, like turning and whatnot. We got to figure it out here. But the thing is that if he does it while he's the champion, cool. But I don't want him to do it while he's pursuing the championship. Because the thing about a good heel is that it's the entourage around him that also makes him such a great fucking heel, Yeah.
And he's
going to need the patriarchy with the AEW title. Like that's the best way that story gets told.
Yeah. I have a solution, and my solution is you don't do that turn at all. And the reason I'm saying that is because to be as respectful as possible, we don't want a single Luchasaurus run. We don't need that. We don't need it, and I'm telling y'all, we don't want it. I'm telling y'all don't want it. We don't want respectfully. So he should stay in a group or and he can't go back to Chuck Perry. So no, he should. Just keep it going. Shit. Like we gonna get the Chad and Otis match at some point. Just keep it on the pot. We don't like. That's how I'm gonna compare it. We'll get that match at some point.
At some point. Okay. Yeah, you're right. That's funny though. That's fucking funny. We're gonna get it at some point. Just stay down. I'll put money in your books. Just stay down, bro. We got you.
Yeah, man.
I'll see you when you get home.
Yeah, y'all can tease it for another 2 years if you want. I don't give a fuck. But I'm telling you, like, we don't want that, bro.
Just hold it down.
Just be a good dinosaur, bro. Like, come on now.
Oh, fuck, bro. That's crazy. Fuck. Oh, shit. Okay. Next match was MJF versus Will Ospreay. Entrance was dope. He got the Assassin's Creed bag for sure. Gear was fucking hard. I respect it. I loved it a lot. Yeah. MJF came out in like the All American get up, similar to like Lex Luger. Yeah. The goofy ass hat and everything. They're definitely playing on the whole American angle here for him. Very, very good match, man. This is one of the ones that like lived up to the hype for me. I know we were talking about like, man, how do you even do something better than the 60-minute match that they had before? This match was better than that. This was a really good fucking match,
which just proved they didn't need to do an hour match. Yeah. I feel like it just to me because
this match was better. Yeah.
I will piggyback off of everything you just said. To me, it proved that that first match did not need to be an hour, because what they did here, it was like they told a story, and it was a good story, and it was a good match. So that's my input on that part.
Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about this match. I think MJF, they have really good chemistry, and maybe that's what the first match was just to get the chemistry. But I don't think you need 60 minutes to get the chemistry down. But if it was the turnout was this, fuck it, I guess it worked. But like they had really, really good chemistry in the ring. MJF does a mean like little power bomb on his knee. We then get, or maybe like I think I had a note in here. Never mind. It wraps in with what happens later. But MJF has a counter to a moonsault that was fucking dope in here. Like shooting star presses on the ropes. Like it was just really, really fucking exciting. The match seems to take a turn when MJF brings out the brass knuckles. And why the brass knuckles, you say, instead of his dynamite ring? The dynamite ring got stolen in London. Somebody, not non-kayfabe, stole this man's ring in London. So he didn't have the goddamn ring.
Holy shit, that's real?
That was real. The stories that I've been seeing, like that was real. That was not a shoot. Somebody got that nigga's ring.
How? Like
TSA. I don't know.
Wow. See, this is why I fucking hate TSA so much.
I don't know. Somebody saw that ring and was like, "Whoo,
yeah,
this might be it. This is my ticket out."
For real. I'm out of here, bro.
Oh, I'm out of here. So
I did not know
he takes the brass knuckles. Yeah, I thought it was a joke, but because it was weird the way that they were talking about it was like, "Oh, he doesn't have the dynamite brass ring," and he has the brass knuckles, and he had said something about somebody stole my stuff or whatever, and then it came out that like that's not fake. Like,
wow, that's wild.
As of right now, it's not fake. As he goes to hit MJ or hits Ospreay with the brass knuckles, we see a black mask figure pop up, grab his arm, pulls him back, hits him, and then the mask comes off, and it's Danny G. So. Mm-hmm. Part of our news cycle today was going to be us talking about Danny G and his contract extension or contract, signings and whatnot. He has not currently re-signed to AEW right now, but the fact that he was on the pay-per-view doing the spot is probably an indication that he's probably going to sign with AEW at some point, or those contracts are being talked about.
Probably. Either he's going to re-sign or he's just going to work until his contract expires, which I just saw today. According to Fightful, it's October. So,
okay.
So if he finishes out this feud with MJF or whatever, then that might be it. Or he'll just resign. But as of right now, he's still not signed. As of right now, as far as we know. So he could be rewritten off the
pops
TV.
Up. He can. That's what next month or next Saturday could be. He pops up. Of course, with his feud with MJF, the last time we seen Danny G was when MJF had brutally beat him in the middle of the ring for shading him for Ospreay, and trying to make a point that I was on your side and you pushed me over here like I was I'm not the A-list superstar. This sets up All Out with MJF versus Daniel Garcia happening. But to get back to the match, as he's feuding with Danny G, he gets hit with the hidden blade. Ospreay finally does a Tiger Driver. 1, 2, 3. We're done. They also try to hand Ospreay the American title in the ring. He was like, no, fuck that. I don't want that belt. Just give me my original. So now I'm sitting here like, we just built the belt for MJF, and I guess that happens a lot. I guess you do have character specific belts, but to only carry it for a month, and he went around the UK as this American
And he went to Mexico with
gimmick.
it. Like he took.
He did go to Mexico too.
I saw a
Yeah.
tweet that made a joke where it's like he took the international championship, turned it into the American championship, and then took that championship internationally. And I wish I could credit whoever I read that from, but it was like a week or two ago. But like that's what he did, and that's low key kind of fire.
Then on, I'm thinking about like that is kind of dope because like you took the international title, called it the American title to build even more heat while you're on tour. Because now you're this American title, and he was selling the fuck out of the American gimmick too. Like I think the clip was in Mexico, and he was like going crazy with the shit, like his promos and whatnot. Like so he was definitely living this shit up. Yeah, okay. As far as that, I don't think it was a bad run for MJF with the belt. I think he did what he was supposed to, which was build eyes on his feud with Ospreay. He took it to other like territories, did his thing with it, and now he's back to just being, or back to like feuding with Daniel Garcia, which was the original kind of like storyline that they were telling. And maybe the way that Daniel got written off was due to the fact that they're trying to negotiate the contract before they like kind of like cemented a storyline for him. We don't want to submit a storyline and you end up leaving kind of thing. Maybe it's like, hey, let's beat you down and then we'll come back and kind of like negotiate contracts and shit.
We'll see. We'll see. Because I feel like, I mean, I don't know him, but based off of like reports and everything we've seen just the last couple of years, it seems like I don't know exactly. It's like I want to be a main event player. Exactly. I mean, I'm sure there's like that aspirations, but I feel like similar to how we were talking about Ricochet, or I mean, there's like, I'll bring Chad Gable into it too. Like some people, like it's not just about titles. Some people just want to be like used and used consistently and used good. Like put me in, like I don't like I'll take a loss. Just put me in a good storyline to where I have something to like eat off of. Like I can something I can sink my teeth into.
It's the consistency. It's what exactly I said about Ricochet. It's like not he was being used. It's just the ups and downs. That's the part that would get you. Am I good or am I not good? You keep having me in, and I'm dropped down to where I'm not being in. Like I just want to play the game, coach.
And he was never in like a really like his best storyline was like with Logan Paul, like in the last recent years or whatever. So, like he never had like a good storyline. Like it was it was usually just matches, and I mean he had something with Bronson Reed for a hot second, but. Yeah, no, like
and even like a little bit with Braun Breaker was cool, and it's just like if that was the entire year, I don't think Ricochet would have left. I just think that like it's just being used, and the same thing could be said about the Daniel Garcias and the Chad Gables. Like we mentioned that like you just want to be used. I just want to be a part of the show. Like that's it.
Be used, like and hanging around with Jericho wasn't it. Being part of what was it? The Appreciation Society. Jesus Christ.
No.
No. So yeah, maybe he'll say, but yeah, as we talked about, as of right now, he's still out and open. So we'll see how this feud goes, and
we'll see. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
anything you could pop up. But look, we saw it with Stephanie Vacker. You could pop up on a pay-per-view and be signed the next week.
Facts, bro.
Like anything can happen, bro.
Someone brought it to my attention. Like that legit happened with Edge / Adam Copeland too. Like it wasn't like I don't think he waited 90 days. Maybe he did. But like they had that video package ready for when he came to AEW, and he showed up not too long after that last match with Sheamus. Like so,
yeah, I gotta take a look at it, but you might be right. I know it's him. I know for sure with Alistair, because Alistair had a 30-day non-compete instead of like the regular 90 days. So like they cut him in like 3 weeks. He was on AEW.
Yeah. Same with Murphy too, for the most part.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. Anything's possible. Next match was highly anticipated for me. This was the Britt Baker Mercedes Moné match. I could already see the grin coming. This I hate to put it here. I hate to put in this bag, but this goes right next to Jimmy and Jay for me. And I did it to myself. I did it to myself because like I had such high hopes for these matches when like they were an idea. I wanted them so bad, and then they happened, and it was like fuck. Now, when I was watching it the first time, did not look bad to me. I was like, oh, it's okay. Like the crowd just wasn't in it. By this time, it was like 7 or some shit over there. They already went through like 6 fucking matches at this point. I was like, crowd's probably just dead. Cool. And as I'm watching it today this morning, I was like, damn, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Mercedes was definitely doing as much as she possibly could to like salvage some matches, or salvage parts of the matches. And Britt,
Stunk it up. Let's keep it a buck. She stunk it up.
Let's keep it.
She looked gassed.
She looked winded. She looked winded and she looked gassed.
I think this was her third match back, right? So it's like
not even. I think she only did. Yeah, it was her second match. I think that was the issue. I think when she got suspended those 2 weeks, she was supposed to like, hey, let's get you into like ring shape. And that wasn't a thing. And she came out and was just gassed. And so like when you're gassed and then you have the crowd not behind you as well, it's that shit get quiet.
Yeah, no.
And you can see,
it looked like she
hear everything.
She blew up early in the match as far as like being winded and being gassed. Like Mercedes is obviously the better worker, but like she's like they had Mercedes doing like power moves, but like man, I don't know. Like also, I mean, honestly, I feel like if this match wasn't right after Will and MJ, it probably would have been received a little better.
I would have swapped it with Tony and Mariah. I would have swapped it. Had them
honestly,
going earlier after the ladder match. I would have swapped it.
I would have just took out this FTW match, but you know
that too. No, that too. That too.
But yeah, no, I feel like the match placement wasn't. Well, yeah, and shit, we still got the Perry and Darby match to talk about. Yeah, so like I feel like honestly, yeah, maybe they should have just swapped those two matches. Put Darby and Jack first, since that match apparently got cut for time. We'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, man, I feel like the match placement didn't help. Obviously, like I'm not trying to slander this one, but Britt looked bad, and this is my first time feeling. I haven't felt sorry for Mercedes since I think she lost the tag team titles with Bayley, and they were reportedly crying in the hallway, which was debunked. But I felt bad for Mercedes because like she had to do a lot of heavy lifting, just to make this look like they're professionals. Which I'm sorry if I'm coming off harsh, but this just was a bad match. And
it was.
Britt needed some more, like, because she's coming back from a quote unquote life or career ending injury. You know, like she needed some more reps. Like,
and that's where my slack is coming from. Is that this was your first or second match back? You didn't get a lot of rep. I'm not going harsh on you because like you did get suspended for the 2 weeks. However, being real, this just wasn't a very enjoyable match to watch, and it wasn't Mercedes' fault. And Britt, she just has to carry it. That's fine. You bounce back. That's what it is. You take an L to bounce back. It's cool. But it was very, very hard to like watch the second time. Like I said, first time, all right, cool. Second time was a little different. It's funny because in my notes, I was like, it just looks like there's a lack of chemistry between the two. Like the crowd was out of it. Even like when Mercedes did the finisher on her, it just didn't look. It wasn't amped. It didn't look good. It was just like
a bad finisher.
Bro.
She needs to change the finisher. I'm like, the best that finishers ever looked was the very first person she did it to, which I think was Cardi Sane. It might have been someone else. I think it was Cardi Sane though. But
yeah,
like the move does not look good.
Not Kyrie. Was it Kyrie? No, it wasn't Kyrie. Is it Rio?
It might have been Rio. It was
because Kyrie's WWE.
Well, I mean, she was doing Stardom / New Japan at that time. Or
okay.
She fought Kyrie before Kyrie went back to the E.
Gotcha.
I just don't know if it was the first match or her second match. She had like 4 matches, I think, and then she got injured. I don't. Anyway, the move just isn't good. And we're not the only people to say that. We're not the first people to say that. It's pretty much a fucking. Everyone agrees. Like,
but I also think it just depends on how you sell it too. Because like even when she did it on Willow, and Willow was a big girl, that looked fucking dope because it was like the power to do it. And even like with Stephanie, it looked fine. It's depending on who's taking the finish.
Yeah, which is and yeah, there is truth to that. But it's like if 90% of the people can't take the finish. Are we going to just blame that 90%, or can we add some of it to the move itself? Like Like, there's some people who can't sell the stunner, but most people can sell a stunner. There's niggas like Vince who can't sell a stunner.
I was like, that was a terrible fucking stunner.
But that's.
But he's also sold a lot of them before.
Yeah, and that's just like one. Like, there's some people that can sell a stunner. Like, there's people that can sell the move. Like, there's some, like, for example, the pedigree. There's some people who, to me, just cannot sell a pedigree. I'm like, I hate that you do it, but it's a move that it can still be. I don't know. I do agree with you. Like because most, like, a big part of wrestling, it's not the person that's doing the move. It's also the person that's taking the move.
Correct.
Especially when it comes to, like, protecting yourself and protecting your talent and the other talent and whatnot. And it's like, dog, like, you guys make this move look like shit. And like, if only 3 people can make this move look good, to me, that's a problem. And
maybe we should, like, yeah, I see what you mean.
Make it your signature. Make it your signature, and then go back to the bank statement for the finisher. Like,
yeah, we've talked about that too.
Yeah. I feel like that was the last 2 weeks ago. Anyway, this match.
I think the best part of this match was like Mercedes' entrance, like the coming down with the carriage and the 3 dogs inside, like, the carriage and, like, the gear. Like, she just looked fucking amazing. Like, the entrance was fucking dope.
I mean, both of their gears was well over. Fuck, I saw the number from Sean Rossap, but, like, Mercedes' gear. She said it was the most expensive gear she's ever spent.
Damn.
And then Baker's gear was also not cheap. So it's like, in that ring alone, they worth like 2 milli watches or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
They wrestling the niggas' rent.
Man, more than rent, bro. Like, that's like, you got like fucking at least 2 months worth of rent. You know, at least 3.
That's fucking funny. Yeah, at some point I want them to run this back when everybody's ready to go.
Yeah, no, they need to run this back. And honestly, maybe they
got to run it back.
A stipulation might help. You know, just similar to, like, how you know, certain people work better in street matches than regular matches, or, you know, whatever. Maybe a stipulation might help, but they should run it back. But also at the same time, I don't want it to be. I'm down for them to run it back, like, in a year and a half or something, or like a couple months. It doesn't need to be. Yeah, we don't need.
It don't need to be immediate.
No. We should. Yeah.
No. And the crazy part is that, like, I saw, like, they did the New Japan show, Capital Collision. I think that was this week too. And Mercedes was going off. Like, I don't know who she was wrestling, but she was going off in that match. And it was like, okay. So
we know it's
we're just going to debunk. We're going to debunk that it's not her. No, she was going fucking crazy.
As much as some people like myself or whatever, like, her personality is whatever. But as far as in-ring talent, Mercedes is she
cooking.
Yeah,
cooks, yo.
in terms of endearment, she is that bitch when it comes, like, when she's in the ring.
Nah, yeah, 1000%.
She is it. It's just everything, like
1000%.
When she's on the mic or when she does a backstage segment, that's a whole different conversation. But in ring, that's like she got Tony paid her what he paid her for that reason. So you know, so we know it wasn't her.
we know what we got you here for. We didn't get you to talk.
And I'm trying to be.
But we got you
And to be fair to Britt, it's like, again, I just feel like she needed more reps or something. Because, like, you came off from a career-ending injury. I mean, you know, your other job is a dentist. That's pretty full time for the most part. And then you coming in here,
1000%.
You wrestle one match, and then you go against one of the most talented in-ring female or women wrestlers on this planet currently.
Who also had like 3 under her belt. Like, she had the Willow match, she has the Stephanie match, like a couple matches on Dynamite. She had, like, some reps on her. So
yeah, because
it was just, you know, chemistry.
Was, like, a little, you know, and that's because
it was a little sketch too.
Because she came back from an injury, but now she's she's in her stride. So Britt just has to get back in her stride.
That's it. Next match, Scapegoat. Jack Perry versus Darby in the coffin match. Like we said before, this match definitely got, like, its time cut, and you can kind of feel it.
Yeah, they rush from spot to spot to spot. Like, yeah.
This nigga, they also just are just hell bent on, you know, somebody catching an infection somewhere. This man had thumbtacks on his face. gorilla glued to his face, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That was confirmed by Renee. And then we get real glass in the bag.
He can't let this shit go, bro.
Real glass. And you know what? I would have said the same thing, and then Punk came out with his All In gear yesterday. These niggas, it's just pettiness all around. Like, fuck it. Like, y'all niggas gonna do what y'all want to do anyway. But yeah, real glass in the bag. I was like, okay, cool. And it was so bloody, in fact, that these niggas got blood on the camera. Like, it was one like dollop of fucking like blood on the camera. I was like, you niggas is just disgusting, bro. Like, yeah, cameraman ain't got no black gloves on and shit. This match took a weird turn when Darby got his hands taped up. And then once he got his hands taped, the whole match just went down from there. It's like you can't really do much because your hands are fucking taped up. Then he ties the belt around his feet and then he throws him off the fucking ramp into a table. Then drags him back to like the casket and whatnot. And that was pretty much it. He puts him in the bag, closes the casket on him. GG's, right? Mm-hmm. But let me take a step back. Before that, he douses him in gas. So at this point, I'm like, oh, Darby's probably gonna lit on fire. This seems very normal to me. After all the crazy shit we've seen them do, somebody's gonna lit on fire. So he douses him gasoline, closes the casket. As he was about to light the shit, or the Bucks come out as they're about to light the casket, blackout. We get a fucking Sting appearance. I'm okay with this. Sting gets a huge fucking pop. He comes out to save Darby. And that was pretty much it for this match. I do think that with more time, they would have had a better story to tell here. Especially with the way they were beefing through the promos and throughout the past like 3 or 4 weeks. Like there was a lot building for them, especially because like I think this started at Blood and Guts, where he calls out his shot for the TNT title and whatnot. This payoff wasn't worth the feud. The feud prior to this, I could
they hated each other before that too. Like when we had the Four Pillars match.
True.
Yeah. So yeah,
they did the best with what they could. But as we know, like timing or having your time cut can fuck up the trajectory of a match.
Oh sure. Yeah, as we know for sure. Yeah, no. Again, they should have just took that FTW match off. Just let Fozzy perform.
Yeah, we could have cut that one for sure. Yeah. Main event. Bryan Danielson, Swerve Strickland, AEW Championship. We get final countdown for Bryan. That's the entrance theme song. Swerve does his entrance, comes out with Who Kid, Bun B, West Side Gun. I loved it. Hip hop for the culture. Hip hop culture. And crowd peaked up. Crowd was dead after the Brit match, kind of like ending with the Darby and Jack match. But this match, the crowd was back and they're ready to go. Like they was hyped for this shit. I watched this one before we potted, and I was like, it still carries over. Great fucking match. We get a Death Valley driver on the ring bell by Swerve. We get angle slams off the top rope. Bryan does the fucking tiger suplex. Like very, very dope fucking match. 3 fucking house calls to the neck.
Yeah.
Bryan does the Ric Flair. What?
Oh, well, I don't think you got to the spot yet, but there's one spot. Well, yeah. Swerve no sells the knee thing that Bryan does.
Yeah,
I didn't like it.
Yeah, you didn't like it?
No,
I thought that was hard. I thought that
it looked hard in the when you look at the clip or you look at the match, it looks hard. But literally the week before, Bryan took him out with that knee. So then all of a sudden,
knee.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden you have a buff. My nigga, if you don't go down,
maybe you learn from your mistakes. Maybe this nigga was in the barn training with the cows, taking fucking head strikes. I don't fucking know, but like maybe he was like, I trained for this. That shit don't affect me. I thought that shit was fucking dope.
If that was the first knee he ever got, I would have bought it. I'd be like, yeah, that's like it would have been. That would have been peak anime to me, but seeing him just take the knee,
I see, yeah. Okay.
It's like yeah, you take the stunner on Wednesday, and then all of a sudden I stunner you on Sunday, and it don't matter.
It's like, nah, fuck that little shit. You got me the first time. You're not gonna hit me. You're not gonna sneak me with the same shit.
I see this shit off. I do see that argument. I hear it. I just feel like, man, if that was the first one, to me that would have been more hard. It's like, nah, bruh.
It's like, nah, this little ass shit.
That knee shit ain't working here. To me,
that shit work for them.
Yeah, but I'm different. Like, to me, if that was the first knee, it would have been more heat.
I see, yeah.
But
and the funny thing is, because you can play it both ways. Yeah. That's the funniest part. Because if he takes the first knee and he rubs it off, you're like, oh, this he's like that, right? Yeah. The second time, or in the alternate version, when he takes the knee, and he's just like, all right, that little shit got me first time. It don't work this time. It's like, it works either way.
Yeah, it does work. Yeah.
But I do like the way the first time he did the psycho knee the first time and just shrugged this shit off. Or that should have been fucking dope.
I couldn't remember the name. But that's a nitpick. So I'm just throwing it out there. That was my nitpick. But no, yeah, it was a good match. Continue.
He takes 3 house calls to the neck, looks at his family, says, I'm sorry. He says, I'm sorry. Similar to like the Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels. They've been cutting a lot in this match to like his daughter, Brie, Buddy in the crowd. Like, definitely playing the family aspect in this, which is a very nice touch. Like, I thought this was very, very like smart to do, because you get to see like the emotions of the kids. Like, as a kid, you know your dad wrestles, right? You know, like, this is his job, but he's bleeding, he's busted open here, he's taking 3 kicks to the head. Like, it was fucking nuts.
Shoot, some kids. Did you see? Oh, sorry, real quick. Some kids know. Obviously, some kids still have a hard time figuring out the difference between reality and fake. But did you see Ilya's quote about his children? Or his child?
Nah.
He doesn't. His child has. There's multiple members of his family that like don't even watch him wrestle. So they've never seen like a match, because they don't like they know how intense his style is. So they're like, we can't even watch it. So like, his son has never seen a match of his, and he doesn't plan to have him see it because of the way that he works. Because the way he wrestles. The way he wrestles looks like it's on his last leg every fucking time.
No, that's true. So, he be selling the fuck out of everything. Ilya's so dramatic in the ring, bro. It's fucking crazy.
So I just gotta throw that in there real quick.
No, that's funny. You're right.
And shout out to the Garcia family. We didn't talk about it, and I don't think we should talk.
We didn't talk about that. Nah.
But shout out to Nikki and Brie Garcia.
We definitely think about Nikki for sure. For sure. He takes the kicks to the neck, kicks out. We then get a Hangman pops up through the crowd. Before this happens, I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, I wonder what Hangman's involvement is going to be in this, because it's not over. I just thought that like the match would end and then they'll do Hangman versus Swerve like next week or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. But for him to come out, cause the distraction, maybe not do anything in the ring, but just to like show the obsessive, like, I don't give a fuck what you're doing. I'm going to put myself in all your matches because I hate you this much.
Yeah.
The level of hate that Hangman has for Swerve I love the story that they're telling here.
It's very,
because once again, he feels like he's the babyface. Mm. I could see that. I could see that if one of them believed that they were the true hero. Hangman believes that he's a hero and he's done nothing wrong.
Yeah, so, which is fact. I mean,
it is fact. It's definitely fucking fact. But just for him to come out through the crowd, or the security takes him to the back or whatever, it was just a nice little touch of like, oh, okay, they're still going to continue the story this way, without the title being on Swerve, because you don't need the title on Swerve for him to beef with Hangman. No. This distracts Swerve. He takes a psycho knee. Yeah, he takes a psycho knee, and this is what sets up the label lock, and Bryan Danielson makes Swerve tap out via the label lock. At first, I was like, damn, I would have liked to see Swerve win, but we also know that Tony been wanting Daniel to be AEW champion.
Yeah,
I think the final countdown was foreshadowing of like, his final run will be with the AEW championship.
We should knew it was a wrap when they first did the career versus title a couple weeks ago when they first announced it, and like I feel like it was pretty
kind of the foreshadowing.
I'm telling like he's gonna stick around for a little bit, and I mean it's not the first time someone in AEW has worked matches without a quote unquote contract. Cody did it. Daniel's been doing it since the first, or I think it was since August 1st. He's been off contract. So
right.
And then we still get the Tacoma Dome. So like here, like, all right, you already said okay. So you said the end of the match real quick before I get to my theory or my fantasy booking. I did not like Swerve tapping. He should have just passed out. I have a problem with that. I didn't like it. He should have passed out. We talked about it before, and like even in the Bash match, like Orton passed out. To me, if you win, like losing by submission, I think it makes you look weaker when you give up, as opposed to just having the nigga put you to sleep.
Your body just fucking.
I'd rather you put me to sleep than me be like, okay, I quit. Like, because to me it makes you. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's my personal wrestling nitpick, but I'd rather my heels or faces. I don't know. I'd rather niggas just go to sleep, kill me.
Just go to sleep.
Yeah, because I ain't quitting. You know, you have to,
I ain't tapping.
You know, like, you have to kill me. You know, so I have a problem with that. But real quick, so we know the Tacoma Dome is happening. We know that Darby Allin has a future guaranteed title match. So when we talked about this months ago, I was like, oh, they're going to do Daniel and Swerve in the Tacoma Dome because they're both from Washington. Well, you know, Darby's from Washington too. So what are the chances of we getting Darby and Danielson? Which I don't know if we've seen that. I don't know if that match happened yet. It might have. It's AEW. I don't know if this match has happened yet. We might get Darby in what? We might get Darby and Daniel in Tacoma Dome. So my first question is, how would you feel about that? And then what if Darby goes over? Because we know Daniel is going to leave. He wants to be part-time, so he's going to drop this title. Fast forward, spoiler alert, his first opponent is Jack Perry. I don't think Jack Perry's winning, honestly, we should, next week, we got to talk about that. Well, no, I won't be here. No, we got to talk about this decision.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, for the first fucking defender. But yeah, how would you feel about Danielson and Darby?
So, I saw that the rumors were like Darby becoming AEW champion, and in Tacoma, I see it. If Bryan Danielson wants to put over Darby Allin, I'm for it. Right? Darby's an AEW original. They're both from Washington. If it's not Swerve, Darby, I get. However, I don't know if Darby is. I haven't seen enough of Darby to where like you're AEW champion, like ready. Think about the guys we're talking about here. Like, you know, it was Mox, MJF, even Jericho had it for a little bit. Kenny, Hangman, Joe. Like those dudes when they have the belt, Punk. Like it changed. Like they were a whole different tier of a wrestler. I don't know how much more you could do, or where does Darby go with that? That's the only thing I don't know about Darby is that like, is his level of commitment to being AEW champion greater than his level of like doing crazy shit? You know?
Yeah.
Because you can't be AEW champion and like, oh, I'm gonna fucking jump off this fucking 15-foot roof and like fracture my ankle or some shit like that.
I mean,
like you have to move differently.
If he wants to be the next Jeff Hardy-ish, it could work. I could see it working. I do agree that due to the injury and due to like him trying to do Everest and whatnot, like he still gives off mid-card status to me.
For me right now, he does.
But I feel like he's done everything he could with that TNT title. Like he's one of the best TNT champions. Honestly, I would put him in the top 2 best TNT champions since that title was created. But yeah, I feel like he's done everything he could with that. And then it's like either the Intercontinental or the International or the Continental one. It's like those are. I mean, granted, the International it's regarded higher now after this MJF Will Ospreay feud. Like it's, and even then, like the first Orange Cassidy run, it made that title look good, but it's still like mid card title. So if we're talking about tiers, I don't know if Darby needs that either. So it's like I feel like,
but your AEW champions, bro, are grapplers, bro. They wrestle like it's different. I don't. Darby's grab skills is not up there with the people that's on that list.
No,
and maybe that's the point. Maybe that's something they want to change.
Yeah,
but like,
I think they have there's an avenue to where it could be the first change. And like you said, he's an AEW original. Like the fans really love him. I don't like him. The fact that we even share a birthday or it's
twin.
Can't stand it. But like, I can see that. I can see it. It doesn't have to be a long reign, but I could see it like like that, like he is their version of like prime peak Jeff Hardy to me. At least that's how I
He
kind of
is.
see it, to where he is that Daredevil.
And
He's team
had a
AEW.
great run with Sting. Sting loves you.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
I
let me read.
I can see it, is what I'm saying. I don't know, like, but also
what happens?
What happens after that?
What? No. What happens when like you do Tacoma Dome, you do Darby, and he gets it right, and you have Christian Cage around the corner, which is a great heel for Darby, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a great first like guy that you can run into, but it also could be the guy that like steals that thunder immediately. He can come in night of, cash in the coin or whatever, and he walks out of Tacoma Dome the champion.
I mean, that would be fire,
Like,
but I don't know if AEW would book it that way. But that would be fire to me.
like,
fuck your dreams.
like at Wrestle Dream, like
Yeah.
the name of the pay per view is Wrestle Dream. To come in and fuck over your dream of being AEW champion,
Yeah,
what?
that would be fire.
I would book it that way. I would book it that way.
Okay, real quick. All right, so I do have another question before we sign off on this. Okay, in a fantasy booking way, how would you have felt if, let's say, Hangman did win that contract?
Mm-hmm.
How would you have felt if he made it a triple threat at the end of the show?
Same way I felt about
Daniel could still win.
Okay. The same way I felt about
when Drew
winning Money in the Bank. We don't need it. It was a wasted opportunity. Mm-hmm. I think the story would have been told regardless whether or not you had the Money in the Bank or you had the Casino Gauntlet win. There's still a story to be told here, and they proved that on both sides. Mm-hmm. You know, we still got strap match, and now we got All Out. To where with the Christian Cage element, it's now like we're sitting like, okay, well now what does he want to do? Granted, both companies are two different situations. We just had Priest carry the fucking belt or carry the briefcase for a year. You didn't want to do that. You didn't want to have another story tied to that when Priest just cashed it in this year. Right. But on AEW side is that like, well, if we do go Darby, this is a great fucking first round guy. But then we also seen that with Swerve too. And I don't think Christian loses twice. I think his first run with Swerve was okay, he lost. I think the second one, whoever he goes against, Christian's going to win the AEW championship.
Yeah. And he lost to Kenny too. I mean, he beat Kenny for the TNA championship when Kenny was the belt collector. But when it came to the AEW championship match, Christian lost that one.
But Christian has been like a staple, bro. Like he's been so much more valuable than I had gave him credit for. Like he just knows how to. He is, bro.
Yeah, even if like some of the dead father type stuff, even if it's cringe from every once in a while, like he has been very consistent, and he's honestly, I don't want to say he's been the backbone, but he's been very important to this product as far as like being. He's one of the better parts, even if it is sometimes cringe hearing about people's dead parents or whatever. He's still been one of the like better parts of this company. On a consistent basis. So I
absolutely. And like him with the AEW championship, him being a true heel, true bad guy in a company that doesn't have baby faces or has an issue like building baby face, like true baby faces, I think he'd be great. So yeah, either way, to go back to your question, either way, I don't think that Hangman should have won it. If he did win it, it would have been predictable and we knew where the story was going. Yeah. Because all he cared about was Swerve anyway, but I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad it played out this way.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was just a random fantasy because like, what if they did it that way?
I like it.
I could have seen it, but yeah, no, I feel like it would have been
sure.
It would have been too close to the because I completely forgot about the Drew shit that happened this year with the cash in.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that would have been too close to that. And it was both in London too. Yeah, no, that would have been way too close.
yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, I didn't think about that. That's funny. That was All In. We got All Out next Saturday. I think the match card's already put out a little bit. I don't know if he's adding anything to it. It'd be kind of crazy to add matches the week up, but it's Tony and anything can fucking happen.
You know he got at least.
But 20. As right now, so far, we got Swerve, Hangman, Garcia, MJF, Sheeta versus Mercedes, Jack Perry versus Bryan Danielson in Chicago. So I understand why they're doing Jack. They're trying to get that heat on Jack or more heat. So far, the match card looks fucking good. Like
I mean,
those 4 matches right there, like
those 4 matches
solid.
seem pretty. Like, I'm here for Shida versus Mercedes.
Yes.
I feel like if they, granted, they did get time on that Dynamite a couple weeks ago, but I think Shida is one of the better workers, and I feel like that first match was an outlier. Like, I feel like they could do way better. So I'm actually here for that match, and I feel like Daniel and MJF should have a stip, but if they don't add a stip, that's fine because we already got a cage match and we already have a street fight.
The street fight, forgot about that too.
Yeah.
So
should be good.
Very interesting card. Any surprise appearances next week, you think?
Man, there's rumor that Miro's back in the United States. Don't know what that means.
Seen that.
Besides that he's back in the United States. So I don't know. Based off of Moxley's new character or whatever's going on, there's been more Shane rumors. I doubt that.
Look.
I don't know. So to answer the question, I have no idea, dog. I doubt.
Okay.
We should get. There should be something. It might be someone who's injured who we don't remember.
There's going to be something.
Shit, maybe Hobbs or Wardlow.
There's going to be something for sure.
But
I forgot about Hobbs.
Yeah, bro, he's been gone.
Put Hobbs with Bobby in them. If Bobby, it may Bobby in them. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe
We'll see.
It seems like he wants to box, so I don't know. But he could do both.
And at 50, I don't recommend boxing.
AEW.
I don't recommend boxing.
You didn't see the video, bro? He's
true.
He's trying to box somebody.
I don't know about that. He got his frustration for real. He was like, "I want a fake fight. I want a real fight." That was all out. Or All In. Great fucking pay-per-view. I loved it. If I had to rank it out of 10, I'll probably go 8.5. I think the Britt match and the Jericho match, kind of like Jericho and Darby, kind of like, oh, damn. Even the tag match. 8. It's an 8. 7.9, 8. It was really good. Production value was solid. They showed they got the bread to spend on production. So AEW, we seen. And I know it was fucking nice because DT was like, that should look elite.
Mm-hmm.
If you get the nigga to look at the clips and it's like, hey, that production looks good, it looks elite, y'all doing something. Spin the bag. Y'all got it. Warner Brothers coming through. Better use all that money.
Hopefully, yeah.